Welcome to Marifado. Do we know that Laos is an African story? But where is Laos? Honestly, is Laos really an African story? Is there proof of the original and earliest inhabitants of Laos? Have you heard of the black freedom fighters of Laos? Let us deal with this topic. If we think Laos' first people were a melanin dominant race, how is it that its current leaders now look more Chinese than Africoid? These are the leaders of Laos during the crisis period 1958-1963. You can get this from sidebar of Laos during the crisis period given here. These are the current leaders in Laos. They all look Chinese. His current Prime Minister Thong Sisolith, former leader Bong Nang Vorashit, and more leaders that have taken on indigenous names and indigenous tribes in Laos. But they look Chinese. There is no question mark or doubt that these look Chinese. So we continue to look at this issue and say, first, where is Laos? From Africa, you can see that Laos is here. It's officially known as Lao People's Democratic Republic, or commonly referred to it by its colloquial name of Muang Lao. This is a landlocked country in Southeast Asia. It emerged from French colonial empire as an independent country in 1953. Laos existed in truncated form from the 13th century. Lao kingdom of Lan Xang existed as a kingdom and was founded by this man. A statue of Fa Ngum, founder of the Lan Xang kingdom. Look at him very, very clearly and think of what race he is. And this is also the Buddha that was bombed during the bombing period by the United States and the Chinese in Laos. Now, Lan Xang existed as a unified kingdom from 1357 to 1707, divided into the three rival kingdoms of Luang Prabang, Vientiane, which is the capital now, and Champansang. From 1707 to 1779, it fell to Siamese suzerainty. Remember, the Siamese are the Thais, or brown people. That's the name. Siami means brown people. They have changed it to Thailand to hide perhaps some of these. And then it became a unified state under the French protectorate of Laos in 1893. The borders of the modern state of Laos were established by the French colonial government in the late 19th and early 20th century. Capture that. So all the borders that we deal with here, all these borders right to India, to China, or Iran, Iraq, they were established by Europe and Europeans. They are not for indigenous. We know the reason why. Despite all these Chinese leaders, there is evidence that modern human presence in northern and central highlands of Indochina constitute the territories of the modern Laotian nation state. A person who lives in Laos today is known as a Laotian, and it dates back to the Lower Paleolithic period. The Lower Paleolithic period is almost 2.5 million to 75,000 years before present. But we know two very critical pieces of information that can clarify who were the original citizens of Laos. The first and most critical one is that of the Krakdop spheres. These are a 3 billion year old collector balls that proves that civilized humans already existed in Africa with machines to manufacture metals and cut metals to very fine state. So this is the proof that a civilization of melanin dominant race inhabited the earth almost 3 billion years before our present, before today. That cannot be disputed And there's a lot of such information. So the question then is, who were the first Laotians? The answer, I think, comes very clear. Could they be Asians? No, not at all. Are Laotians Chinese? No, because we know that only 2% of the current population in Laos are Chinese. Yet this 2% holds disproportionately large presence in the Laotian business sector and dominate the Laotian economy and military today. If the Chinese are only 2%, who then are the other 98% of the people that we do not see mostly in our public arena? A short history of Laos can assist us here. The earliest inhabitants of Laos were hunter-gatherers. Later they were farmers growing rice and pulses. The first farmers used stone tools, but from about 2000 BCE, bronze was used in Laos, and from about 500 BCE, iron. So who were these hunter-gatherers? Most books and researchers are very quiet about this. But old images and writings tell us another story that is not supported by current people that dominate Laos today, which is the story that indigenous people in Laos were Africans, melanin-dominant humans, or Bantus, or black people. 2500 to 500 BCE, early civilizations start to form in Mekong River and plain of jars region. This is one of the mysteries. Big, giant stone jars, which are scattered around Laos and considered the most unique and important archaeological discovery in all of Southeast Asia. In total, over 90 sites have been identified, with each site containing between 1 and 400 jars, which look like this, very huge jars. So there are the examples. Here are the examples of these jars. Plain of jars found in Laos here. And this is capital Vientiane and Paklay. These are some of the cities. Sekong, Muhuang, Champansang. If you see this word Champa, it means Hampa. It means black people in Nongka and Vietnam, Myanmar, Burma here, as well as Thailand here, and Cambodia at the south. So this is where you find Laos, and this is a Laotian. Look at him. And this is the port. So we are now on a very solid ground to discover who the original people were. Do we know Laos is an African story? Yes, correct. There's one more powerful mystery. It is the proof of the earliest inhabitants of Laos, which is considered correlative evidence to many other proofs that we have given in many of our videos, proving that Africans or black people or melanin-dominant people or founded Laos or were in Laos or Southeast Asia 80,000 years ago. This is a fossil that was discovered in northeastern Laos in a cave, the oldest known remains of modern humans in mainland Southeast Asia, and the fossils of other animals and many other things prove again beyond reasonable doubt that these were Bantus. This is a reconstruction based on this fossil or skull. It's quite clear that this is a Muntu. You can go to this website to find more of the proof that we are talking about here and sharing today. So Laos is a country that belongs to Bantus. Now, there is another history that proves that this could be likely the reason why Laos holds the record of the most bombed country on earth, where every 8 minutes within 24 hours a day for 9 years a bomb was dropped somewhere in Laos, killing and destroying and maiming people. And this was conducted by the United States, France, as well as China. They bombed it thoroughly to a point where today it holds this record. It's amazing. The reason why Laos is the most bombed place on earth, though enveloped in the propaganda of the United States fighting the spread of communism, which is unbelievable, is because of its history and the proofs of who the indigenous inhabitants are. Hence, the United States and the Chinese bombed Laos heavily. If indigenous Laotians were Europeans or Asians, who do they have bombed it in such a way? No ways. Therefore, these genocidal crimes conducted using political gimmicks and ideological deceptions stands as evidence of the melanin dominant humans who were the real earliest inhabitants of Laos. You can read this book, Package Principle, for the amazing proof of this assertion. You can also go to this website on WordPress to find and to read the history of how far this bombing went and what it did to the indigenous populations in Laos. Honestly, Laos fits an African story here. We now should present undeniable pictorial proof for the indigenous people in Laos. This is a Laos Aka tribes woman. She's a Muntu. Very straightforward, no doubt about that. These are the Buddhas, the statues of the Buddhas. They are Bantus. No two ways about that. This is one of the reclining statue of Buddha in King Cancun in Vientiane, Laos. Muntu. Look at the nose, look at the face. Very clear art and pictures of Laos Bantus. These are known as criminals. Look at how they are arrested. Look at how they are the leg chains. Look at how the abuse here, similar that has been done to Bantus. Again, these are indigenous Laotians. They are true Bantus. They are here singing and having some music and clapping hands and having a good time dancing. These are Laotians. Look at them. These are Bantus. No two ways. This is a quartet orchestra, Laos, in the early 18th century to 19th century, quite clear during the French occupation. Again, indigenous Laotians. Look at them. These are Bantus, melanin dominant humans, black people, brown people, negritos, niggers, if you want to use certain terms. Again, 1863. Look at that. These images of Laotians, Bantus. More clear proof of Bantus in Laos, 1847 to 1925. Look at them. And again, this is a group of Bantu sellouts who had turned and converted to Christianity with one of a French preacher, a missionary. But look at them. These are Bantus. These are converts, but they look Bantu. Again, more orchestral Laotians, servant maker, musicians. Look at them. These are Bantus. Again, more Bantus here. Look at the young man wearing a brim head there. Muntu in Laos. Straight forward, no two ways. Of course, this is in Saigon. That's the whole area populated. Remember, the borders were put by the Europeans. Again, there is Laos, Lisanton, Tiwamat, Chief, Bonanza, Lang, Prabang. Look at him. Look at his children there. Look at that. These are proper, true, correct, no ways Bantus. Look at the young man wearing, riding an elephant there. He's a Muntu. Straightforward, look at him. Muntu. These are Bantus, melanin dominant humans. We have no doubt about that. These are not indigenous. These are Chinese. They now are in Laos and they have taken Bantu tribe. They call them Aka women. They're not. No ways about these. We know where they came from. Again, more people here. This is a Bru minority woman. Bru means people who live in the woods. This is a Brao minority woman. The images here by Taf Van at Eric Laforge. The Brao people are an ethnic group is living in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. They speak Brao, a Mon Khmer language. When you see this Mon Khmer is Muntu Khmer, these are black people, indigenous black people. Homong in a village near Ou River. There again more. This is a Bantu, is a Muntu. Don't worry about the hair. It's part of our Bantu hair. Again, you can go to this website to see more of the people now constituting even the invaders, the children of the descendants of the invaders, also claiming to be Laotians. Again, modern anthropological tricks by Laos government, whereby a common mistake is to call people from Laos, Lao. The correct term for people that live in Laos is Laotian. The term indigenous people is not used by the Laotian government. Instead, they refer to non-Lao people as ethnic minorities. These are Bantus. We know why they do that. Because these people that are in power are not indigenous. So they have a guilty conscience. So they cannot use a proper term. These are the owners of Laos, the owners of Southeast Asia, Bantus. And there's an old way when the population, according to anthropologists, was divided up into three groups. The Lao Lom, lowland dwellers, these were in the majority. Now they have been neutralized by intermarrying and the mulattoes coming up, and then mulattoes marry the other side and the black race vanishes and disappears. The Lao Thiung, people who live in the mid-altitude levels, and the Lao Song, who inhabit the upperlands. Today, the official system contains 4 different ethno-linguistic groups. These are the Lao Tai, the original Lao Lum, Mon Khmer, mainly Lao Thiung, Hmong Mien, Lao Sung, and Chinese Tibetan. The Hmong Mien and the Chinese Tibetan arrived in the 19th century, and now they have taken over the whole place in power. They admit it. But black people never gave up Laos easily. They fought off the Chinese invasions in the wars known as the Huang Wars against Chinese quasi-military forces who invaded Tonkin, that is Vietnam now, and Siam, which is Thailand today, and moved on into Laos, invading it and plundering and destroying Buddhist temples. And this is one of the Laos black flag soldier who fought against the invasion. Do we know this? Laos is an African story. These are our brothers of Southeast of Asia lands who fought against the Chinese invasion. He's a Bantu army of Thailand, Hong Wars, 1875. Look at them. They are Bantus straight to the core. So they Bantu Southeast Asia freedom fighters and leaders. You go to this website, you see them. Look at the treatment that they faced. Same as slavery. A yoke around your neck. There is no way we can escape this. These are Bantus. No ways that you can say they are not Bantus. More Bantus. This chief saw missionaries, Bolevons, Bantus. Bantus, so straightforward. And even their heart, their house, their thatched hearts, Bantus, straightforward. This is in Laos. Again, more Bantus, which Sao see this Bantu, and they are. This is what Bantu women looked like according to French pictures. The French could not make a mistake. Look at them. These are the two pictures depicting the Lao women represented by Laos in the colonial exposition held in France in 1907. Very, very clear, straightforward. Again, these are mulattoes who are transitioning towards being pure Chinese. And they are, again, Laos French colonial guard. Our brothers and sisters now who joined the colonial army, the French colonial army. They are Bantus still, but they sold out and they never fought against the French. Again, let's compare the two. This is what you are told. These are the modern Laotians. But again, rural midwives help save mothers in Laos, People's Democratic Republic. This is United Nations Population Fund images. You look at them. Compare who is from ancient times. This is indigenous. These are descendants of invaders. There are no two ways about that. So we have proved with the credible evidence that original humans on earth were Africans, and that Laos is a land of mysteries, and the reasons why Laos is the most bombed place on earth, and that old Laos, its history is hidden, yet that history, when it is known, proves that the indigenous people were Africans or melanin dominant Bantus. That the current rulers of Laos today are invaders, largely of Chinese ancestry. Therefore, we know that Laos first inhabited were melanin dominant humans who have by now vanished. We must unite as a people and never allow ourselves to be removed from our earth and from our estate. Melanin dominant humans, Bantus, African, this spelled this way, Dravidian, Khmer, Mon, Negrito, brown race, etc. We are all one species, the original race. We have been divided for too long. Let's work together to share this true history. That's the simplest thing you can do today. Share this true history to as many people as possible. But to put your hand on the plow, do not hesitate. Get in touch. Send us an email on join@marifado.com. We will respond and continue to share more. Siabonga, tatenda, asante sana. Subscribe to our channel Hamiti Iburu Ethics. This preacher Rabbi LM Dumizulu of Marifado, Ilifaletu Nakayedu. We are rebuilding our greatness. Have a good day.